Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my Coco movie review. So, I saw this movie last night. I was kind of doing the Thanksgiving thing, so I didn't have time to review it or see it sooner. But let me start off by saying I think this is the best movie I've seen this year. This movie, to me, it spoke to me very personally on many different levels. And if I had to describe it in one word, it would just be fantastic, fantastic or amazing, something like that. This is a Pixar film. It's co-directed by Lee Unkrich and Adrian Molina, along with Matthew Aldrich wrote this. It takes place during the Day of the Dead festival in Mexico, and I was a little concerned that there might be some political undertones in this movie, but there are not at all, none whatsoever, and I love that. Like that thought did cross my head, but it's nothing to do with that, and it's nothing to do with this kid being Mexican or anything like that. It's just that's what he is. It takes place during this holiday, and the story is a universal story, and I could relate to this story on many levels. My family it's is I don't have any Mexican heritage, but my family is Hispanic. And when I was a kid, much like this kid, I was this punk rocker, heavy metal kid who was in a band, and I liked to rock out. And my family was very religious, and my stepdad hated everything that I was doing. I hated my hair, hated like my leather jackets that I wore with the studs in them, like my boots and all that. He would say that's gay, that's stupid. What are you doing? You're lost, blah blah blah. And it was just like they just would not support me in my music and what I wanted to do. Much like this kid, his family would not support him, and that is the overall theme of this movie. Is like it's making that decision, and it's also with a decision to the family. Like, you should really just accept everyone in your family for who they are and support them in what they want to do. Like trying to force people into like some way of thinking or way of being only alienates people. And unlike with this movie, I'm not going to say, well, I'll say this. For me, I never ended up getting that support from my family. So over the years, like that stepdad I mentioned, I haven't spoken to him in 15 years. So that's how that went. And that is what happens, whether someone, it's because, they're gay or they want to be a rocker or they don't want to follow in the family footsteps, or they're an atheist and their family's religious, which is another thing with me as well. Um, if you don't accept them, you're just never gonna. They're gonna be gone. They're gonna be alienated, and maybe they'll show up, for a holiday here and there. And that is why I was able to connect to this movie on multiple levels. It reminded me so much. I even kind of looked like this kid when I was his age. There's just so many levels. You had the family matriarch there, and there was a male figure that was missing. And this kid basically, he picks up a guitar and he goes off to the land of the dead, and he meets his ancestors, and he goes on this crazy adventure. The soundtrack to this movie, I bought the soundtrack as soon as I walked out of the theater. I turned on my phone and I bought the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. I love the score. It was Michael Giacchino, and if I actually there's a second version of some of the songs. One that's sung by Luis Angel Gomez Jaramillo, which is a kid who's a Mexican singer. He was on the Spanish version or Mexican version of The Voice, and he's big down there. I'd never heard of him before here in the States, but what a great song. My favorite one is the Proud Corazon, and I predict that movie's going to win an Oscar for Best Song. I also predict this movie is going to win an Oscar for Best Animated Film, and I'm even going to go on and say it's going to get a nomination for Best Picture. So they might try and shortchange it by giving it Best Animated Picture. With animated films, it's a little weird. I think Beauty and the Beast, man, maybe one or two other films of Beauty and the Beast certainly was the first one to get nominated for Best Picture, I believe. Um, anyway, I couldn't recommend this movie enough. Yeah, I think up until now, either Logan or the War of the Planet of the Apes were my favorite movies. I didn't know what to expect. It had received kind of some high praise. I didn't watch any reviews all the way through. I kind of watched just overall thoughts, and then I would cut the reviews that I was watching short because I wanted to be surprised. And the overall theme of family and just acceptance within your own family. And maybe also you got to look at yourself. Like, am I being selfish? What does that mean? And and you'll learn a few things. This movie teaches also about the Day of the Dead tradition, which I always thought was a really cool part of Mexican culture. And in reality, down in Mexico, they've got a lot of really cool traditions and a very rich culture. Uh, and there's a lot of traditions and a lot of things I think that they have to offer the world. Fortunately, politics being what they are, that's a different story. And unfortunately, for those of us who live in border states, I think we have kind of like a very uh, limited sample of what that country has to offer as far as our own daily interactions with people who have heritage in that country. But anyway, yeah, I would say go see this movie. Go see it with your family. This is definitely the best movie I've seen this year. Um, so on the Star Strider scale, this is going to be my highest rated movie of the year. There's still 1 month left, and there's still Star Wars, a couple other movies I want to go see. Wonder, not Wonder Woman, Wonder. There's a couple other movies, but I think this is my favorite movie of the year so far. It was just so personal to me. I have a much like Miguel in this movie. He's got a grandma in a wheelchair that doesn't recognize him all the time. Just like I have a grandma in a wheelchair. He wanted to play music. His family didn't support him. I want to play music. My family didn't support me. Um, yeah, it's an incredible movie. I go see it, please. I really want this movie to make millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So on the Star Strider scale, I give this movie a 97. 9-7. It's the best movie I've seen this year. So, still got a couple more movies. Like I said, Wonder, Star Wars, uh, and a couple other ones. I heard I, Tonya's good. I got maybe about a half a dozen more movies I'm going to see before the end of the year. But right now, that's for me personally, especially. This movie was personal. And it touched me on many different levels that I was not expecting, and I was not expecting to have the emotional reaction that I did um, watching this movie. So, anyways, like and subscribe. Again, I'm trying to grow my channel, so share this video if you like it. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below, and I will see you later. All right, bye. Whoop! You see how quickly I get up? That's awesome, isn't it? Okay. All right. See, my jacket's just like Miguel's. All right. See ya. Bye bye.